Hi everyone. Now welcome to this demo video, and it's mainly to introduce the paper of the ACCA Advanced Performance Management. Now my name is Stephy, and let me brief you through on the syllabus and the study guide as well as the past exam questions for APM. Now first of all, I think most of the students they do have one question in mind. Now they may be thinking that when we are here to select one of the optional papers, they probably will ask this question. They always wish to know that, Steffi, I may not have the basic knowledge about PM. I may be exempted from this performance management paper. So do you think I'm supposed to go for this APM? Now, so of course, it's possible for us to cover the key areas or the assumed knowledge from the PM in the APM paper, which means the Advanced Performance Management paper in this case. Now, so of course, in this video by itself, we'll be able to see now what are the main areas of the Advanced Performance Management, which I will bring you all the way, not just the syllabus guide, but the past exam questions as well. So therefore, now let me share with you these that it's possible for you to actually download the ACCA APM syllabus guide via the ACCA website. And of course, from here we will get to see. Now, so if you have a look at these two options, where we have the first, which is the APM syllabus study guide from September 2019 to June 2020. Now again, since you will be going for September 2020 or the later exams, say for example in year 2021, I believe the second options or the second link, now it's what you're looking for. Now, so of course, now try to download one and you will get to see this thing here. Now, so this is the set of the syllabus guide that is suitable for you to go through for your own reference, and it's all the way to June 2021. Okay, now I think it's always important for us to actually see in the first place that which part is seen to be important. I would suggest you to actually have a look at the last page of the syllabus guide. And this is what we call as the summary of changes to the Advanced Performance Management, which is APM. Now, so guys, please bear in mind, there will be some areas to be added this time, okay, in the syllabus itself for the APM. Now, so let's have a look at the first part of the syllabus guide here, that is the ACCA periodically reviews its qualification syllabuses, and so that they fully meet the needs of the stakeholders, and such as the employers, the students, regulatory and advisory bodies, and the education providers. Now, so let's see what are the main areas of change to the syllabus are summarized in the table below. Now, so guys, let's have a look at these. Now, I believe the main change right here, the main changes, now, which is the PM information system and the developments in technology. Now, so in terms of the syllabus content that you get to see on the right-hand side here, we have C3. Now, that's the title of the syllabus section that's changed to recording and processing the systems and technologies. So we believe that it's just a title change right here. Now, but however, there are some new areas to be added. That is C3B. Now, let's have a look. Now, that's the area that is for the updated and the upcoming examination from the September 2020. For example, the process automation and the Internet of Things. And that's what we call as the IoT that have been added. All right. So try to imagine if you sat for any of the exams, say for example, last sitting, anything before June 2020. Now remember, all these areas were not included as part of the syllabus. However, right here you start to see, all right, starting from the September 2020. Now, then what about C3C? Now, that's another new area to be added in the syllabus as well, and that's the artificial intelligence that have been added. All right, so things to do with the AI and how will these affect the management accounting system is another part that will be added. Now, moving on. Now, we have this C5AV, and this is a new learning outcome. Okay, great. Now, so of course, upon the commencement of our paper, it's always important for us to brief through all these and to go through all these with our students, and so that you're aware what are the updated areas or the content in the syllabus before you attempt these particular paper or the global examination. Okay, great. Now, so of course you maybe having this idea right here, for example. Now, it's also possible for you to actually get the past exam questions downloaded from the ACCA website, and especially when we talk about the advanced performance management. That's a class. Now, we know that in the past, when we study PM or even earlier, the management accounting paper, this is always what we remember. Now, we said it's important for you to know, all right, now the main roles of having the performance management system. Now, it's always to do with planning, decision making, and control. So as a result, these are the three main areas, as we say, all right? It's important in a way for you to look into that. So therefore, we say that with the use of the advanced performance management, and therefore it's important, all right, to link back to the APM in this case, which is further clarification, further detail, all right, to be addressed in this advanced level paper. All right, so we actually get to see there are some differences, but of course, what are the differences? You will find out more from our normal course itself. Okay, so it makes a difference right there. Now, so in addition, now we know if you go through the past exam questions, you learn a lot from there. Now, trust me, I think one of the areas that you can find out how the question looks like is always through the downloading of the past exam questions. And let me have a look at these right now together with you. Now, say for instance, if you're here to see the past exam library, and that's where you can download the past exam questions and together with the answers. Now, so let's have a look at, you can see that the past exam questions, and of course, starting from year 2016, like 4 years ago, and then even all the way to the latest past exam question published by ACCA, that's for March 2020 examination questions. Okay, now, so here you go. This is how it looks like. Now, which is for the APM March 2020 in the first place. Okay, great. Now, so class. Now, it's always important for you to get it downloaded. And let me do one right here. Okay, great. Now, so of course, what I'm going to do is I'm trying to open it right now and to show you how these questions likely to be when we're talking about these part for the APM. All right, so let's have a look at these together when we are here to get it opened, and of course to see how the seat of factors here. All right, for example, now class. Now we find that the students are aware if you're going for any of the APM examination, it would take approximately 3 hours and 15 minutes. And that means the candidates are only allowed to spend about 195 minutes for you to actually attempt the questions. Now, of course, don't forget that these 195 minutes have to be well spent for both the section A and section B. So, class, Perhaps you have an idea that you wish to know more about what is in section A and at the same time in section B. So we'll have a look at section A first. Now, so always remember. Now we find that this section A question by itself, in the first place, that's only one question to be attempted, all right? And it's compulsory and must be attempted in this case. That's the class. Now, the first step that you must always remember for you to go through the very first question, you will have to see what are the information provided in the case study. Now, so it's a pretty long case study right here, and starting from page number 3. And it's all the way to page 5, I would say. That's the appendix number 2. Now, always bear in mind that class, when you're looking at these, now you find that the provision of the appendix 1 and 2 are mainly seen as the main source of the information, all right, required to answer the past exam questions. Okay, now, so we even get to see some of the standard part or the standard requirement for the paper. Now, let's have a look. Now, so the first question is a 50-mark exam question, by the way, and starting from the first part all the way to the fourth part. And again, class, the students or the candidates are required to draft a report, all right, which is to the Chief Executive Officer. Now, then moving on, that's where you start to see the requirement individually. Now, not to forget, now out of the 50 marks served, we know there are 4 marks mainly for professional marks. Now, so what is these professional marks, for example? Now, that's very much now to be awarded for any format, the style, the structure of the discussion of your answer. Now, remember, when it say the format, the style, and the structure, it's again to do with the report. Now, we are talking about the drafting of the report, so we have to make sure that you apply the right format, and you have to make sure that the style of the report, of the structure of the answer has to be appropriately applied. So that's pretty important, okay? Now, so I think it's a good way for you to actually score the full 4 marks here in the examination, because somehow we know it helps the students sometimes to pass the exam. So don't waste the 4 marks, right? So that's what we are looking at. Now, so you can see, now class, even like here from the first part to the fourth part, okay, most of the time we expect there'll be higher marks allocation to the theoretical aspect, but not so much on the computational area. Now, because we say the computational area is more relevant, let's say, for the management accounting paper or the performance management paper, but not so much for APM. So be prepared. For this APM, it's very much about what? It's very much about how to apply your knowledge into the case study or the questions, all right? By quoting the examples, for example, by the use of the model. Now, all these will be seen important and is required, okay? Great. Now, so of course here, now let's see the requirements such as like to evaluate the current performance reporting, and that's one of it. Number 2, the other proposed performance indicators, that could be another one. Now, the changing role of the management accountant, if you wish to know more, then you can try to figure it out with me in the normal course. Now, of course, more stories will be shared right there, and some of the practical examples will be shared as well in our class or in our session, because we find that all these will be eventually applied in your exam question. Now, then do not forget the opportunities and the risk of introducing new data warehouse. Okay, class. Now, you know what? Now, this is very much about the IT areas. Now, when we say the IT areas, which we find that in a way, it's something to do with big data, all right, data analytics, and then the ERPS, right? So we know things are getting more towards the IT area, especially when we talk about the advanced performance management paper. Okay, great. Now, so you can see, now of course, you have to spend some time when you attempt section A exam question. Now, bear in mind, in the exam, what I am going to do, or I would say it in our normal class, it's always important for us to actually use not just the annotation, but at the same time, we'll be able to open the Word file as I can show you the example. For example, by opening the Word file, and that's how we type out the answer, all right, for the examination or even in our class. Now, why? Now, because we know that most of the P-level papers eventually will be changed to computer-based examination starting from year 2021. All right. So I guess especially for the students in Asia, I think what is important is you have to get yourself familiarized with the computer-based examination. Now, that will be slightly different from any of the exam papers in the F level, because in P level, you know, there will be preparations of longer part answer, more lengthy, I would say. And on top of that, you have to make sure how you interpret the data that are all provided in the exam question. So therefore, we know that's pretty important right here. Now, so class, for instance, when we actually prepare the answer, like let's say for the report, now, so say for instance, now, you know, like we'll have to come up with some title, to, from, all right, date, say for instance, and even subject, assuming. And then, of course, say for instance that the board of directors. Okay, so we get to see how we can type this out. And of course, following by the introduction. Now, this introduction part is that's where you have to introduce, all right, what's going on and what are the areas required by the management. For example, now I'm going to show and demonstrate to you, let's say this report highlights the key area. For example, the key areas, all right, now such as the evaluation of the current performance reporting. Okay, great. Now, so class, now not to forget, we know this is not only the only part. It's definitely not the only part of the requirement in the exam. There are more. And of course, you're going to add in like in addition. All right, so blah, blah, blah. What's going to happen? All right, now remember that this part of the introduction, try to make it as informative as possible by stating all the relevant or the keywords stated in the requirement. Okay, so it used to show in the examiner's report that the students basically demonstrated a part of the answer in the introduction para and seems to be too brief, all right, in a way. So we find that if it's possible, what we're going to do is we make sure that we bring out the key issues and with the use of the keywords, and then these are the issues that we have to address in the report. Okay, now, so of course what you have to do is that you will then start off with part number 1. And for example, when we are talking about the evaluation. Okay, now, so class, now you just have to bear in mind that what are we trying to demonstrate and to show here. For example, class, this is just to demonstrate to you how to prepare the report, all right, based on the format presented by the examiner. So that's always important for you to go through all these. And again, you don't have to worry, because if you only refer to the past exam question, especially the model answer, you may not know what is relevant to you, because you know that the slots, all right, I would say is just too informative when you yourself trying to figure out something from the model answer. So therefore, you can actually pass the baton to us that we can show you that what are the key areas. So not to worry about that part. Okay, now, so we say it. Now, this is very much on the introduction part, and of course, if there's any workings, it has to be shown in the appendix, where you yourself will have to create that in the examination. Okay, great. Now, so of course, moving on, I'm coming back to here. Now, you can see that's all about the 50 mark exam question, 50 marks exam question. All right, pretty straightforward. Now, so not to forget, we have section B exam questions as well. Okay, what is it all about? Now, for this section B question, there are only 2, and both questions are compulsory and must be attempted. Now, again, so for all the questions right now in the APM, where the company information will be presented, that's why you will get to see that class from here with background, with a value-based management. In this case, what is that? Don't worry, in the revision class itself, or even a novel course, will be able to demonstrate this to you. Understand? Now, with all the requirements right there, for example, like what is VBM, the implementation, and how you're trying to create the value, and the difficulties of using the EVA. And trust me, class. Now, we know that these are mostly to do with theoretical aspect. And again, that's only with 25 marks here. All right? Okay. So I'm going to say something new that's not in PM itself, and that's called the economic value added, which is as part of the value-based management for your information. Okay, great. Now, so towards the end, class, don't be surprised that you can start to see something different in the Appendix 1 as well as Appendix 2. So these are most of the time the data provided in the exam. That's for your own reference. Okay, so that's what you know here. Now, moving on. Now, of course, the next part is question number 3. As you can see right now, that's another case in this scenario. All right, with another company info. Now, this question, once again, is another 25 marks exam question. And class, now I've just mentioned to everyone before that every time when you're looking at a case study, starting with part A as well as part B, look at the requirement, then we go through the case subsequently, all right, in order for you to apply back into the scenario. Now, not to forget, this question is very much about the quality-related course, and therefore the Appendix 1 right here has indicated that, which is on page 9 of this set of the policy question from March 2020 for your information. Okay, now, so again, class, my advice is, I think it's good for us to know about the delivery mode in the class. The delivery mode right here, it's very much about for the online course. Number 1, we will go through our normal notes first, and then subsequently, after the briefing of the concept, and once the student has built their understanding on that particular part, and that's where we learn from the past exam questions. Now, so therefore, we always use past exam questions as our main resource here, all right? Now, especially to know or even to get to know the skills of answering the exam question, all right? Now, so sometimes I may probably refer you to the model answer of the examiner, because we find that students basically learn more by referring to the model answer rather than just to study the textbook. Now, so there's a very wrong perception that by only looking at or reading or studying these study texts enables them to pass the exam. I would say that's not sufficient, because what we need is the questions, and what we need to be familiarized is the examiner style, and also the examiner's team, I would say the preference of theirs. For example, like what kind of questions that they normally test in the examination, and all these will then be briefed in our session. Now, then in addition, now not just with the use of the study text, and of course, when I try to go through or deliver my session, and what I will do is I will bring in these Word file or even the Excel. Now, I believe that higher chance for us to make use of the word file at the end of the day, because what happened is that, like more theoretical aspect, as I mentioned just now, or if let's say you start to see some of the calculation questions, and that's more to do with Excel. So with the use of the Excel, that's where you can see all the computational area would be covered, all right, in the class as well. Now, so sometimes I would try to play with some videos. So we believe that with the use of the videos, and that could probably help in building further understanding of the students or the candidates for advanced performance management. Okay, so always remember, you may be probably shocked sometimes when you get to see that for this APM, and it seemed to be one of the killing papers in the optional paper, all right, but I would say that it's a very interesting paper because you get to learn a lot of I would say that some general examples, all right, the practical examples, and via the reading of the technical articles, the business journals, all right, so all these, now it does help, all right, in a way. Now, so once again, class, now this is all about the advanced performance management, and I hope that I will be here now to assist you, all right, to build a strong foundation of your performance management for the assumed knowledge and all the way to the advanced performance management paper for your information. All right, so once again, now you may consider taking this paper and to listen to even more stories in our session. All right, so once again, my name is Stephy, and I hope you can consider these as one of your strategic professional papers, all right, and that you are aiming for a pass. And let me support you, all right, to achieve that objective, all right, for advanced performance management. So anyway, thank you very much for watching this video, and for more information, please check this out, all right, from our website. All right, so anyway, thank you very much, class, and goodbye.